Good evening, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you're doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. Hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing fine on this Saturday afternoon, guys. Where Man United are not playing, so I'm not really interested. Well, I am a little bit, guys. Chelsea have defeated Nottingham Forest 3-0, guys, and Garnacho was hooked off, had a stinker. Absolutely awful game to start with, guys. And you know what? If he's talking match-tease football, he will actually be quite a decent player because he has been talking quite a lot. We're going to get into that, guys. Before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, all that great stuff, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today, of course, guys. Now, let's get straight into it. Of course, you may have seen the comments from Garnacho earlier today, or it was probably yesterday evening, in regards to... Chelsea would have defeated Man United if they had 11 against 11. They would have been on top if they had 11 against 11. No, you know what I mean? I'm not one of them people who would just dismiss this because, yeah, we had 10 against 11. But before the sending off of the goalkeeper, it was actually Man United were on top. Man United were on top. Man United were dominating the game. Actually, it didn't help us with the goalkeeper getting sent off. I think Man United would have won the game anyway. I think Man United were in that kind of form to win the game. And we do have those kind of performances sometimes. Now, I find it funny that a lot of players who have left the football club continue to speak about the football club and continue to, I don't know, maybe we keep them up at night. Maybe they wake up in cold sweats. I don't know. But it is just a little bit like, what's going on here, guys? What's going on? What's going on with Garnacho? Why do you keep talking about Man United? You wanted to leave. You got your move to Chelsea. There you go, guys. You should be happy. You're living in London. Happy days, isn't it, at the end of the day? And that is what it's all about. But he seems to be talking about Man United quite often. And he said that if it was 11 against 11, that Chelsea would have won the game. I doubt that very much, guys. I'm going to say it. I'm going to back up, man. Obviously, my team, and I'm going to say, yeah, look, you know what? We had a bit of a rub of the green in that game. But to be honest with you, I don't think we were under pressure before your player was sent off, before Sanchez was sent off 11 against 11. Now, Chelsea had a great result today and no help in regards to Garnacho. Garnacho was hooked off. Garnacho was absolutely awful in the game. Couldn't control the ball, kept kicking the ball at own touch. And this is what we're talking about, isn't it, guys? This is exactly why he's no longer playing for Man United. It's because of the mentality. His mind is elsewhere. Culturally, he does not understand his football club and he does not understand what it takes to be a world-class footballer. In his head, he is Cristiano Ronaldo. In ability, he's David Bellion, guys. At least David Bellion had professionalism at the end of the day. So I find it really, really funny that a player that has left, he's got his wish, living in London, happy days to him, and he's still talking about the football club. I don't know what you make about that, guys. I really don't. I don't know how to say it any other way. It's obsessed, isn't it? Obsessed at the end of the day, guys. And I find it hilarious, to be honest, guys. I really do. Absolutely. Guys, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the stream. Big up, Jay. What's going on? Hope we're doing well. Hope everyone is blessed, of course. Now, guys, yes, there's a little bit of news circulating, and it did come from the Sun, guys. So I would take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt when it comes to these sort of things. When something comes from the Sun, don't really take it too seriously, guys, because you know what the Sun are all about. They've been talking about Roberto Mancini coming to Man United. Roberto Mancini apparently has been speaking that, you know what, I could be the next Man United manager. He's talking about himself, not me, by the way, but he's talking about himself. Listen, this is just another tool to destabilize Manchester United. That is what it is, guys. I want people to understand this. It's just a destabilization tool from the Sun. That's what the Sun do. The Sun is there to destabilize. The Sun ain't there to wish well on Manchester United. They never have. They never will. So this is what they do. Of course, Mr. Luckhurst is working for the Sun now. So don't be surprised. If he's one of the culprits in regards to this little bit of news. He's obsessed with Manchester United, is obsessed with talking about Manchester United. And this is exactly why I wrote the thumbnail today. You know what I mean? Talk less. Because this guy, Garnacho, Luckhurst, talking about Manchester United non-stop. It's like they're obsessed with us. They're obsessed with Manchester United. They're obsessed about bringing Man United down. I mean, there's been many, many players now. We've had Rashford now. We've had Garnacho. We've had Luckhurst. Who else is going to come out and talk about Man United? It does make you laugh, doesn't it? That, even though they're elsewhere, they're doing other things, we are the forefront of their mind, guys. Hated, adored, never ignored, as we said, guys. And it does make me actually chuckle when I think about it. Absolutely. Now, some of you may be wondering why I've got Yardman as my on my thumbnail. Some of you may be wondering what's going on there. Now, look, I want to talk about this, and I want to talk about the fans. I want to talk about AFTV. I want to talk about what's going on there, because I've seen a lot of things in regards to AFTV, and I have nothing but respect to Robbie. I have nothing but respect to, obviously, the judges who's been on the show, of course, and I have nothing but admiration for them for what they've achieved, what they've built as an entity. But I'm a bit concerned about the direction that they're going in, and I think that there's one gentleman, obviously Yardman, who is basically living off a buzzwords and gimmicks, actually made caps and merchandise about it, which makes me wonder, if you're talking about, for example, Ten Hag out, imagine me, right, if I was Amaram out or I was Ten Hag out in the past or something, and imagine me making caps and merchandise to promote that. What would you think about me as a person? What would you say about me as a person if I was making merchandise about I hate Bruno? You know, what does that mean? I mean, I don't, but imagine if I had an agenda or something like that. Imagine what you would be thinking of me. You would be thinking, what an opportunist, what a fake fan, you would be saying, you know, and this is precisely it. And I want people to differentiate what is a fan and what is a guy who's there as an opportunist, right? And that's what I want people to understand. What is the difference between fans and opportunists? Now, there could be fans that also use the club as an opportunity to make money. I would never do that, because I believe it brings yourself and the club into disrepute. It brings your respect in regards to your club, and respect in regards to your support and your loyalty towards the history of the club and the heritage. Because every time I think about Man United, I think about the heritage. I think about the history. I don't just think about what's directly now. I think about, you know, the past, etc. Some people don't, and they use the club as an opportunity, as a tool for clout. Now, look, I don't like Arsenal. People know I don't like Arsenal. I like Arsenal as a football club. I think Arsenal are a fantastic football club, a massive football club, historical football club. I don't like the fans much. I do get on with some of the fans. I don't get on with a lot of them because of the way they act. And in my opinion, I think that they are very, very delusional in the way they are, but that's fair enough. I don't mind. But when you're thinking about Arteta, for example, and I want people to scroll back in regards to Arsenal for before Arteta took the job at Arsenal, and I want people to remember where Arsenal were. And no, he has not won leagues. He has not won titles. He's not won trophies. Okay. But I for one, it's putting away our rivalry to one side, I think Arsenal play a great brand of football. I think they're a good football club. I think they're basically the most balanced team in the league. One of them, definitely, up there in the top two. I would say that they basically have got the things that they had problems before. I think they've got that sorted out. Remember when they had the defensive issue? I think that is sorted. I mean, Alex Ferguson once said, you know, attackers and goals win games, but defense wins titles, isn't it? At the end of the day. So I would say that Arteta deserves more respect than some of the fans out there that have been giving him Arteta out and making caps about it. Do you know what I mean? Caps about it. And actually bantering yourself, bantering your own football club, because that is what it is at the end of the day. Because when you go to that game on a Saturday afternoon or Wednesday afternoon, whenever it may be, you know, you're there to support your team. It doesn't matter whether you want the manager in or out. You're there to support your manager. And when you go and you win a game 2-0, 3-0, and you're still after the game, talking about get him out, should I say? I think it's a disgrace, if I'm being honest with you. I really do. I think it's a disgrace. And I think that this kind of support needs to stop, because you know, it makes other content creators, you know, look bad. It makes other content creators look like we're only in it for opportunity, which is not true. And I feel like these people are undermining, you know, the content creation game, and they're dumbing it down, so to speak. They're dumbing it down. They're dumbing the content creation game down. Now, when I look at AFTV and they got rid of the likes of Turkish, of course, they got rid of the likes of Mo as well in the past, who were very intelligent speakers, very good at speaking. The other gentleman as well who left on Forever Arsenal as well. They were probably the most intelligent speakers, probably some of the most intelligent speakers in the content creation game. Very, very articulate with the words and stuff like that. And I do like listening to Turkish. I did like listening to Mo, and I do like listening to the other gentleman who left as well. I've forgotten his name. Sorry, excuse me. But I do like listening to them. And I feel like, why have those guys been removed? Why are they being removed? Because their opinion is balanced, is fair. And I don't see sensationalism. I see intelligence when I hear them, when I hear them speak. And I'm not a fan of Arsenal, but I do watch content creation. I do like to sit there and watch sometimes, the opinions of other fans and stuff, because I think it's very important that you get an idea of what being a fan is, and learning about how these people react to their defeats and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And in regards to that, I find it very, very bewildering. And of course, we had the issue with Saeed and the flag on his jacket, which I felt was unacceptable. I felt the double standard has been going on there, and I have my own sinister thoughts on it. It's not sinister, but it's a sinister reason. The thoughts that I have are of a sinister subject, and I don't want to say too much about it, but I feel like we need to address this kind of thing. We need to address that. You know what? Then they're not looking at people. Guys who have a cautious mind, who speak facts. They're looking at dumb people. And I'm not saying that man's dumb. I'm just saying that they want the opinion to be dumbed down, and that's what they do at the end of the day. And I feel like we need to understand that we don't want this game. We don't want this game to be dumbed down to opinions that suit a certain crowd. We want the opinions to be real. We want it to be balanced. We want it to be no holds bars, and you know what, not scripted. We don't want it to be scripted. We don't want buzzwords. We don't want loud mouths. We don't want anything like that. We want proper football opinion. And I think that's how it should be at the end of the day. And that is how I will always approach things at the end of the day. I'll always be real to myself. Whether you like it or not, I'll be real to myself, and I'll do that. Whether you fall off or you carry on supporting, I will still stay real to myself. And absolutely. And there's people falling off Stretford Post because they can't take my opinion. There's people falling off Stretford Post because, they feel like, they can't argue back to me, because if I did, I'd be wasting my time, number one, but also I would be, going down to their level because they're not got the education or the experience about traveling or anything like that, like I have. And, I would say that everything should be fair. Everything should be balanced. And I feel like the game of YouTube, it shouldn't be going back to 2017, because I don't want to go back to those days where YouTube creation was about content beef, about content creators beefing each other, about Mark Goldbridge, about DT and all these people beefing each other. I think the game has changed since then. I think the game has gone much more mature, of course. And this is one of the reasons I didn't straight dive into social media and content creation off the cuff with live content, because I saw what was going on around the scene, and I saw the ridiculous immaturity that was going on and stuff like that. And it's hard not to get caught in it. I did do streams, but I didn't do live streams. I did basically streams based on interviews and things like that. I interviewed Tony Cotti, Jason McAteer. I interviewed, Mr. Hendry from WWE. I interviewed him, and various other journalists, of course, guys. And I kept my thing not live and just pull it up there and uploaded it. And I felt like now that when I started doing the live content game, I felt like it sort of calmed down a little bit now. So maybe I can get into the game and start talking logic and sensible things. But you know what? There's people out there who are there to make a buck, and are there just to get likes and clicks. And obviously it's nice to get likes and clicks. Don't get me wrong, as long as it's warranted. As long as it's not a bait, and as long as it's not something that, whenever something comes up, i.e. a UAE takeover or something like that, just put a random shake on my thumbnail with yellow writing, 5 billion buyout, and then, this is what these people do. And this is something that I don't do, guys. And I will refrain from doing that, for the rest of whilst I'm still here, guys. Absolutely. Let me just read some of your comments, guys. Big up everyone in the stream. Thanks for listening. Hope you're doing well. I could take him in a heartbeat. He is the closest to a carrot. Now, guys, I want to talk about James Garner, right? James Garner, as you know, used to play for Manchester United a while ago. Okay, and we got rid of him. Some people at the time, many people, including myself, said, "Why are we getting rid of James Garner, etc.?" Because he was a good player, he was a decent player, and we didn't really give him an opportunity that he deserved, especially given that Man United was so lightweight in that midfield position. I found it weird that we got rid of James Garner. Now, James Garner, of course, went to Everton. He's done very well at Everton. He is still a very young player, of course, guys. He's still in his early 20s, of course. He's 24. He's 24 years old. He's a defensive midfielder. And he's got 10 caps for England under 20, 18 caps for England 21. He's gone under the radar a little bit in regards to that. The thing about James Garner, which is attractive here, guys, his contract expires in June. So he is a free agent in June. He's available to come to Manchester United in June. So what would you do about that, guys? Would you sign James Garner on a free transfer? I'm telling you right now, guys, he's been at Man United before. He's very old, guys. He can play centre midfield, right midfield, defensive midfield. He could play right wing back. He could do something of that ilk, isn't it? And look, I know he's valued about 20 million. He's valued about 20 million, but we can wait until the summer and we can sign him. And I'm sure James Garner, of course, he is a Manchester United fan. I'm sure that he would love to come back to Manchester United with the opportunity to come back to Man United. And I think a lot of players that have left in the past, i.e. Gibson and obviously Garner as well, Collier, who's gone on loan, of course, I feel like we need to remember who we are in regards to these things, in regards to midfield players and stuff who we brought through over the past and everything like that. But James Garner would represent an interesting one. He didn't get any England under 21 scene for no reason. Look, since he's gone to Everton, of course, his English aspirations have gone down the drain somewhat, obviously, because it's Everton. But Everton are doing pretty well this season, guys, absolutely. But James Garner linked to Manchester United, guys. And I would say free transfer. Yeah, why not? Why not? Free transfer. Why not? Do it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what I would say. Guys, just a little bit of updates on the Premier League scores. I know I keep you up to date. I know a lot of people are watching the Premier League right now, guys. Sunderland 1, Wolves 0. It's Burnley 1, Leeds United 0. Brighton 1, Newcastle 0. There, that's an interesting one, guys. Another interesting one is Crystal Palace 0, Bournemouth 2. Bournemouth, well, absolutely brilliant. And it is Man City 1, Everton 0, and Fulham against Arsenal is later on, of course, guys, absolutely. So, look, you know what? The Premier League is funny, isn't it? At the end of the day, who would have thought Crystal Palace would be losing at home to Bournemouth? What a team Bournemouth are, by the way. Absolutely brilliant, guys, absolutely. But, guys, look, Man United play Liverpool tomorrow. That is the most important thing for me out of everything. Man United against Liverpool is the most important thing for me. And that's what I want to think about right now, which is beating Liverpool tomorrow. How are we going to beat Liverpool tomorrow, guys? How do we do this? Guy, I want people to know I want to know your opinions. How do we approach the game tomorrow? How do we defeat Liverpool tomorrow? I want to know, guys. Let me know what your feelings are about the game. Now, look, I think I said it at the beginning this morning that I think we get a draw and we'll run out of that ground. We walk out that ground and we end up playing other teams lower than Liverpool, of course, and we have more chance of winning. I feel I've got a sneaky feeling about Man United tomorrow. I've got a sneaky feeling with a 2-1 win, in my opinion. I have. And yeah, look, you know what? Let's hope. I don't want to be pessimistic before the game. 24 hours before the game, I don't want to be pessimistic. I know there's a lot of people out there who are being very pessimistic. And everything I write on Twitter always comes back to Ruben Amorim. Even though I'm not talking about Ruben Amorim, it comes back to Ruben Amorim. Now, I would say that Ange Postecoglou has been sacked today. Of course, no surprise there. I could have envisioned that before they sacked Nuno Santos. After they sacked Nuno Santos and got him into the club, Ange Postecoglou, I could have envisioned that. I knew that was going to happen. I don't rate Ange Postecoglou. My only regret out of everything is that we managed to lose to Postecoglou or Postecoglou in the Europa League final, which was devastating. I know what Postecoglou did, though. He played a low block and he just defended for his life, done an FA Cup snatch and grab job. And it was a very poor performance for Manchester United. And that's not down to Ruben Amorim. That's down to a lot of the players as well. Not just down to Ruben Amorim. That was down to a lot of the players as well. Obviously, as we know now, Bruno Fernandes had Saudi Arabia on his mind, of course, which is obviously why he didn't play so well and gave away the ball, which led to the goal. So what I would say, guys, I would say that Postecoglou, commiserations. Nuno Santos is one. He's one. You know, I would say that. And he was always a better manager than Postecoglou. When you're managing a team like Nottingham Forest, you need to have tactical astuteness in regards to the way you play, because they're not a Tottenham. They don't have world-class players. They have some good players. Elliot Anderson's one of them. Gibbs is another one of them, of course. There are some. They got Jesus as well. He's got 4 caps in Brazil, but they haven't got a strong 11. You need to have a little bit of a tactical nous in regards to Ange Postecoglou. He's not a good manager, right? He snatched and grabbed the Europa League final. He's a poor manager. He's done well at Celtic and teams like that. Who can't win the league at Celtic, guys? I get my grandmother. She can win the league at Celtic. You know what I mean? I feel like, it is what it is. And the owner deserved that. The owner deserved that. Postecoglou is going to go away with a lot of money in his pocket. That's what happens, of course. It's the best job in the world. You can lose and still get paid a lot of money, more than anyone in the world, But, it's a waste of money, isn't it? And I do feel like the Nottingham Forest owner is getting a little bit ahead of himself. I said that at the beginning. I did say that he's too much in one direction, and I felt what Nuno Santos done at the football club was absolutely extraordinary. And I was kind of felt bad for him when he was sacked, because I felt like it was disrespect to what he's done at Nottingham Forest. And considering where Nottingham Forest were, for many, many years, in the championship, guys, you know what I mean? Welcome, everyone. Big up, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Hope you're doing well. Big up, William. What's going on? Hope you're doing well, brother. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see my friends in the house, of course, guys. Big to see it. And good big up the members as well, guys. Let me say hello to the members as well. Please don't forget you can become a member of Stretford Post as well, guys. Don't forget. William, Garnacho, we've done well to move him on. We've done very well to move him on. Absolutely, William. I agree with you. I concur with you in this one. I think that these comments over this last 24 hours just confirms what a lucky escape it was for Manchester United, in my opinion. It was a lucky escape for Manchester United. He's petulant, he's childish, and he doesn't represent a Manchester United player, in my opinion. He just doesn't. And I would say that I wished him well when he left. Of course, I supported him before he left the football club and stuff like that. I wished him well. But what I would say is that, this needs to be quiet about Man United. Stop talking about Man United. Concentrate on Chelsea, and that's it. Because I watched the game today, and I was absolutely, I wasn't in awe. I was in awe at how bad he was, though. Right? He was absolutely awful, guys. I'm telling you, if you watch the game, guys, he was absolutely dreadful in that game today. And I wouldn't say it any other way. Poor performance, kicking the ball out of play, couldn't control the ball, absolutely awful. And maybe if he stopped thinking about Man United and concentrated on his actual game, maybe, just maybe, he might actually, do better than he is currently doing at the moment. Absolutely. Wesley, what's going on, my friend? I heard earlier that if Amorim gets sacked, Mancini is in line to place him. Look, guys, Mancini is an ex-Manchester City manager, okay? So I doubt that he's going to manage Manchester United. And anyway, I don't think any one of us want Mancini as the manager. Mancini is not the right guy for Man United. If Man United were going to get any Italian manager, it would be Antonio Conte. That's the only one I would say, yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy. He's got the discipline. He's got the tactical nous to take us forward, in my opinion. I would say that. I would say that, guys. I would say that. Yeah. Mancini, I don't rate him at all. I think he's a very passive-aggressive sort of person. Obviously, I remember what happened in 2012, and that he done very well to win the league, even though it was thrown, I believe, by Croupier. I mean, I'm surprised no retrospective action has been done against QPR when Paddy Kenny admitted that he let in those goals. I mean, there we go, guys. Why hasn't anything been said about that? That's one thing I want to know. I mean, at the end of the day, guys. But yeah, look, I don't want Mancini. Nowhere near the club. Nowhere near the club. Man United deserve better than that. Absolutely. And I think that this is exactly what the pool of manager is, though, isn't it? This is exactly what it is. This is exactly where we are. There's no standout candidate in regards to the managerial positions around the world, guys. There's no standout candidates. Hey, what's going on, Helge? What's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Big up, Helginho. What's going on? Good to see that lovely face of yours. Thank you so much. It's good to see you, Helge, as usual. I love how Garner said we'd win with 11 and get subbed off at halftime today. Exactly, Helge. Exactly, brother. It's unbelievable, and how ironic it is when a player mouths off before the game. You know what I've always said, guys? You'll make your bed first, then worry about the creases in other people's beds. That's what I would say, guys, because at the end of the day, look, he left Man United. He's no longer our problem. yet he still thinks about Man United. It's obviously he's obsessed about Man United. Do you see Mbeumo coming out and talking about Brentford? Do you see Cunha talking about Wolves? Do you see Mason Mount talking about Chelsea? You don't, do you? I mean, they got nothing to say about it. They have nothing to say. He's obviously incredibly bitter because, look, it didn't work out. That's it. I supported him. I will support the players at this football club. I will criticize when they need to be criticized. But you know what? It didn't work out. Move on. That's it. Move on. All right. It's up to him. If he wants to be obsessed with Man United, that's fine. But saying that 11 against 11, that Chelsea would have defeated Man United or come on top or something like that. I don't know what he means by that anyway. But what I would say is that Man United were dominating that game before Sanchez was sent off. Right, they were dominating that game, and it was actually one of our best starts in a long time. I actually feel 11 against 11, Man United would have done better than 10 against 11. I actually feel, because the reason I say that is because Man United generally do well against with teams that actually attack. And when Chelsea went down to 10, they brought off all their attacking prowesses and they went defensive. And as we know in Man United, we're a little bit funny with the low block. And they made it difficult for us. And obviously, it's down to us as well. We're not clinical enough and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's all hypotheticals. I don't deal with hypotheticals. I deal with facts. The game, we won 2-1. That's it. And that's the end of it. We won the game 2-1. And no one made a difference in that game for Chelsea. You know what I mean? And that's what I would say about that. And, if he wants to be obsessed about Man United, then he's just going to harm his own career. Do you know what I mean? And I wish him well. I have no hatred towards him. I know that his career didn't quite go the direction that he wanted to. There were some problems as well in regards to the fan base outside Old Trafford and that. And I want people to remember this, right? When we were talking about the situation outside Old Trafford with a certain fan talking badly about Garnacho in front of his face, I'm not saying that Garnacho is a world beater. He's going to be the best player in the world and stuff like that. I was talking about unsettling players before a game. And I don't think that is necessary. If you want Man United to win, you don't unsettle players before the game. And I think he never was quite the same after that. He realized that, the fans are against, some fans are against him. And I know he's a young lad as well. And it obviously got to him. It obviously got to him because I do think deep down he likes Man United. He loved Man United. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. The fans, obviously, some of the fans, a certain section of the fan base were against him from the beginning, but those certain fan bases are against everyone. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, they're against everyone that comes in at Man United. I don't actually think they want Man United to be successful. I don't even think they support Man United. But one thing's for certain, once you've left the football club, once you've signed for the team you wanted to sign for, we've given you your move, forget about it. Forget about it. That's what you should do. Stop talking about the football club. Move on with your life. And that is exactly what you should do. That's it. Stop talking. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And get on with what you have to do. Because today, Chelsea had a fantastic result. But you were the worst player on the pitch. And you know what? I would even say that you were worse than any of the Nottingham Forest players too. Absolutely. Big up, Helge. Good to see you. Wesley. Sal, Bournemouth sitting at number 1 at the moment. Big up Bournemouth. Fair play, of course. Good afternoon, Sanjay. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Jay, good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. No, we don't need Mancini. Get Laurent Blanc, old boys. Big up. Yeah, look, I'm surprised, by the way, Jay, that Laurent Blanc has not been spoken about as much as I thought he would be over the last couple of years or so. No, he's never in the same breadth of other managers. Why is Laurent Blanc not mentioned in the same breadth as other managers? I don't know. Ex-Man United player, of course. Remember, I know he came later in his career, but a very good player, World Cup winner, experienced. I don't know why people haven't mentioned him. Of course, he hasn't gone on to the levels managerial-wise as other people have. You have to make a name for yourself. Like when Ruben Amorim was at Sporting Lisbon, he made a name for himself. How did he make a name for himself? Beating Man City 4-1 in the Champions League, being undefeated in the Champions League. I support this manager. I hope tomorrow we win the game. That is my primary thought about Man United. It's all about winning the game tomorrow, getting a good result, and going on to the next games. I don't want to think about Mancini. I don't want to think about Blanc at the moment. I want to think about Ruben Amorim. It's time for Ruben Amorim to make a name for himself. It's time for him to win this game and hopefully, set the record straight. Because that's what it will be. It will be a statement victory if we manage to win that. not many people win at Anfield. I did say that. And winning at Anfield, we haven't done so since 2016, guys. Absolutely. So it's a difficult place to go. I think it's one of the most difficult places to go in Europe, in my opinion. And if Man United manage to go into that game, exert themselves well, implement the tactics and the system well, I think we'll be all right. You know, I am a little bit worried and a little bit pessimistic about certain players in the team, but I don't really want to talk about that. I just want to talk about the positives and think about what Man United could possibly do, because it's football, 11 against 11, as Garnacho said. 11 against 11, of course, guys. But obviously, we got Mr. Michael Oliver to contend with, which is not a good thing. Or even on a good day, he is not pro Man United. Far from it, as we know. He will find things to go against Man United. We know that. And he shouldn't be anywhere near a Man United game. But I'm watching him as well as I'm watching other Man United. I'm watching the referee as well, because I don't want this game to be decided on some ridiculous penalty, some VAR decision that was questionable and things like that. Do you know what I mean? I really hope it doesn't go that way, because I don't trust Mr. Michael Oliver. I really don't. And that's what it is, guys. Absolutely. Now, guys, I'm just going to get up some of the results, of course. Some of the score lines, should I say. Oh, wow. Crystal Palace have equalised against Bournemouth. It's Crystal Palace 2, Bournemouth 2, guys. Brighton 1, Newcastle United 0. Burnley have gone 2-0 up against Leeds United. Sunderland 1, Wolves 0. Great start for Sunderland. Man City 2, Everton 0. Obviously, Everton are missing Jack Grealish today, which is interesting. And guys, the later on game, it is Fulham against Arsenal, but that hasn't kicked off yet, of course. But you know what? I think that's going to be a tough game for Arsenal. I think it's going to be tougher than they envision, of course. Hey, what's going on, Metal? What's going on? Good to see you again. Hey, Sal, how are you? I've been pretty busy lately. I'm good to see you're busy, mate. It's good to see. It means things are progressing and stuff. Hopefully, you're doing well for yourself, and hopefully everything is going well with you, my friend. Big up, Metal. Hope you're blessed. Thank you so much for coming back. I hope you're doing good, guys. Yeah, look, guys, look at the Premier League. It's so unpredictable. Bournemouth were cruising at 2-0. Now it's 2-2. This is how difficult the Premier League is, guys. People don't understand that. You know, anything can happen, of course, guys. Absolutely. Absolutely. Funny, Big William. Funny how these players we move on got a lot to say when they're gone about Manchester United, but they play shite for. I mean, it's funny how everyone seems to want to talk about Man United, even though they're no longer at Man United. Like Marcus Rashford, I'm playing my best games since in my career, so I don't quite understand that. When people say I'm playing the best football of my career, why? Is it because you down-tooled at Man United? Is it because you didn't play well for Man United? Because you were lazy? Because you didn't want to run? Because you didn't like the manager? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, I mean, is it because you threw your rattles out your pram? Is that because Rashford? Is that why it is? That you're playing the best football of your career? Because you know what? You didn't play for Man United for a couple of years. You were invisible, mate. And at the end of the day, you know what? Some people say, oh, Rashford would go down as a legend. He won't even go down in the Luke Chadwick mold, guys, in my opinion. I mean, Luke Chadwick is ahead of him, leaps, guys, leaps, head and shoulders ahead of him, absolutely. Helge, big up Helge, Bellion. That's why I love you, mate. Probably been at least 10 years since I've heard that name. Absolutely. And this is what we're talking about. And we're talking about a bunch of David Bellions at Man United talking about Man United. Imagine David Bellion left Man United and started talking badly about Man United. Imagine that. We'd be like, what, David Bellion talking about Man United? What the hell is he on about? And this is exactly how I feel about Marcus Rashford and Garnacho. They're like David Bellions, two David Bellions talking about Manchester United. No disrespect for David Bellion, at least he was professional, etc. You know what I mean? Pace merchant, done well at Sunderland, kind of, but he's a bit of a pace merchant. But it seems to be very, very, you know, these two players, the Bellions, Bellion 1, Bellion 2, we're going to call them. You know, they seem to have a lot to say about Man United. They have a lot to say, even though they got their dream move. Rashford has got his dream move, yet he's making indirect, sly little comments about Man United. We know what it's all about. I'm playing the best football. Playing the best football in my career, blah, blah, blah. We know who that's aimed at, guys. We know it's aimed at Man United. We know that's what he's talking about. And the same goes with Garnacho. You know, he's talking about the game against Chelsea. Mate, you didn't even get on. You didn't even play. You're on the bench, mate. You're warming the bench, hugging the bench. You didn't even play. You know what I mean? You should worry about playing for Chelsea, mate. Otherwise, you're going to end up, you know, at Fulham. That's what's going to happen. And then you're going to slowly decline, mate. And that's what I would say. Absolutely. Yeah, big up, my friend. Garnese Gorman. What's that? Garnese. What's that, my friend? What's that? Big up, Kenny. Hi Sal, big up. Son scored a hat trick today. My son? Oh, congratulations on your son. I thought you meant son from Tottenham. I was like, what's going on there? Yeah, look, congratulations, mate. I hope he's gonna smash. He's gonna smash it, mate. I'm hearing all good noises, mate. That's really good. Good to hear. Keep it up. Keep working hard, and that's all I can say, mate. Congratulations, of course. Bournemouth are top of the league now. Yeah, it won't last long, will it? At the end of the day. The Sun is there to destabilize 100%. Now they have gotten their Darth Vader in Luckhurst, a match made in heaven for her. Yeah, absolutely. Always been out to talk crap about our club. I mean, I would say that he should be banned from ever attending any Man United press conference ever again. And I'm not saying that to be overly sensationalist about it, but I think it's over for him. I think he shouldn't be talking about Man United anymore. I mean, come on, what kind of journey? You get a degree for that? He gets a degree. He's got a degree to talk like that. He's got a degree to talk rubbish, to make up stories and stuff, and just to destabilize Man United before one of the biggest games of the city. Is the biggest game in the English calendar, which is Liverpool against Man United, two of the most successful teams. I know a lot of teams like Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City don't like talking about it, but Man United against Liverpool is the biggest game in English football to this day. Factually, we have the same. We have almost the same amount of trophies. We are the two most successful team in the world, in England, and if not two of the most successful teams in the major leagues in Europe. Playing each other. I don't think there's many games that have the combined amount of trophies as Liverpool and Man United. There's only a few. Barcelona, Real Madrid, maybe. You know what I mean? There's a couple here and there. Maybe AC Milan, Inter Milan. But Man United, Liverpool is up there. You know what I mean? And stuff. And it's in regards to competitiveness, it's definitely, I feel it is definitely the biggest and most competitive game in Europe, one of the most. And it is the biggest game in Britain. Celtic Rangers is politically very big, but it's basically a big derby with championship players or League One players. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would say about no disrespect to Celtic and Rangers. Got a lot of time for Celtic as well. Of course, guys, with their beliefs in that, I think they're absolutely a courageous team, a brilliant team, and I think a lot of teams can learn from them. But I do believe that they have a massive game, which is obviously the Old Firm. But I don't think it's quality-wise the best. I think Liverpool, Man United has always proven to be the two teams that are very, very high in quality, of course, guys. So let's wait and see, of course. Metal. Areola's been impressive, Sal. Lost his entire back line, but still managed to get an average team to top of the table, even if just temporarily. He's done very well. But one thing I worry about Metal is that, the circumstances and environment that you go into is completely different to, like, for example, Man United. Working at Bournemouth, there's no pressure at all. You have no expectations. There's no fans on your back. There's no 76,000 every single game. This is the difference between Man United and Bournemouth. And there's been great managers who've failed at Man United, and some of them are proven winners. And I feel like, if we're talking about managers, if we're talking about Areola, if we're talking about, any manager that can come in who's managing a team like Bournemouth, I think it's completely different. To night and day in between Bournemouth and Man United. It really is. It absolutely is. And I'm not saying that he would come into Man United and fall flat on his face. I'm not saying that. But what I would say is that it is difficult for a team like, for a manager to analyze a manager who manages Bournemouth to manage Man United, for example. Do you know what I mean? And there will always be managers out there, even with, Crystal Palace manager. There will always be managers out there who will do well at these teams, but then move to a big team, and then the pressure gets too much because it's completely different. It's a different kettle of fish, guys. We have to remember that. Do you know what I mean? But with these teams and Man United are probably one of the hardest teams to manage in the world. I think they are the hardest team. And the reason I say that they are the hardest team to manage in the world is because of our ownership. It's because we're owned by who we're owned by, the cults within the fan base, the pressure around the place, the legends that have been at this club, the achievements that this club has managed to achieve. And you have to basically emulate those people, those ex-managers, those ex-players. And it's very difficult. That's why when great players come to this football club, a lot of them fail. A lot of them, fall on the wayside, and they can't recover from it because the mental damage that it does playing for Man United, it lasts forever, in my opinion. This is why the likes of Ten Hag, who was sought after before he came to Man United, let's not lie to ourselves, guys. Before Ten Hag came into Man United, everyone wanted Ten Hag. Before Ruben Amorim came into Man United, everyone wanted Ruben Amorim. Let's not lie about that at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Helge, funny how Højlund McTominay hasn't said a bad word about United rather leaving, but Anthony, Sancho, Rashford and Garnacho can't shut up about us, and that is everything. It's all United's fault, Helge. It's all United's fault. Blame, not looking at themselves in the mirror. And I think one of the main guys at the moment is Bruno Fernandes, who's actually at a club who likes to blame. And I think that is a culture at a football club. And when they lead the football club, they still got that culture of blame game. Let's blame that, but not looking at the mirror. Not looking in the mirror, looking at your own performances. Of course, it's down to Ruben Amorim and down to inconsistencies that you walk on the pitch, that you don't want to challenge for headers, etc., that you underperform for 2 years. That's down to the manager and the inconsistencies. Look, I'm not saying that isn't a problem. Of course, it's a problem. But great players show up wherever, in whatever environment you bring them in. They show up, guys. They show up. That's what they do. You can put Zinedine Zidane in the San Marino team, and he will make a difference to that team. That is what great players do, guys. That is what world-class players do. You know what I mean? And I'm telling the truth. You put Marcus Rashford in that San Marino team, nothing's going to happen, guys. I'll tell you that right now. Right? And this is what I'm talking about. And this is what I'm talking about, obsession, compulsive, obsessive behavior. And this is what they have. And it is a disease at this football club. They got an ego, delusions of grunge, what's it called? Some of them got delusions of gunja, not grunger. But so they have got delusions, and they think they're better than they are. A lot of them think they're prime Ronaldo when they're, as I said, David Bellion. Even that's doing David Bellion a disjustice. A lot of these players are just mouth. And even players who are currently playing for us right now, they're just mouth. That's all they are. They're just full of mouth. And that's it at the end of the day. William, I will never slag a manager off. I'll never slag the manager off if they get sacked at United. It's a massive job, and the pressure is unreal. The pressure is unreal, guys. And people forget that, obviously, Ruben Amorim's only 40 years old. 40, and he's going to be a fantastic manager. He is a fantastic manager. The problem is not the manager. I've said it 100,000 times. It's the board. They gave him a 4 out of 5 out of 10 window, and obviously the players there are manipulators, and they're good at lying. A lot of these players, including the likes of Marcus Rashford and team players like that, they're good at lying. They're good at talking that rubbish, talking that smack about Man United and stuff. But when it comes to nitty gritty of performing, they can't perform for Man United at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And I would say that, I'm playing the best football of my career. Why didn't you play the best football of your career at Man United? The club that gave you an opportunity, the club that gave you a platform. Because I'm going to be real with you guys. Let's talk about Marcus Rashford for a little bit. Marcus Rashford would not be playing football right now at the level he's playing if Wilson and Martial didn't get injured that time when Louis van Gaal gave him that opportunity. He would not be playing at a high level. I'll tell you that right now. He was third choice. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So, look, he should thank his lucky stars where he is. Man United gave him that platform. Carry on and do what McTominay have done, of course. And succeed where you are. Go, Højlund. Succeed. Højlund's already spoken about Man United. I wish him nothing but the best. McTominay, I wish him nothing but the best. I can still keep an eye out for the results. Blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, even if you don't mean it, just have a little bit of class. Have a little bit of class at the end of the day, because never bite the hand that fed you. Never bite the hand that gave you an opportunity in life. Let me tell you that right now. And that is what it's all about. Absolutely. Big up, Stephen. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again, my friend. Good to see you. Metal, I jinxed Bournemouth 2-2 now. Oh, my goodness me. Brighton are beating Newcastle. There you go, RJ. Big up, RJ. Hope you're doing well. I'm not convinced about Ruben, this, but soon as the whistle goes, I'm standing with him. Look, at the end of the day, as I said earlier, as I said a few days ago, William, it doesn't matter what we think, right? Whether we're convinced or not. As you said there, support the manager throughout the week. I know people, William, that have spent their whole week talking about Ruben Amorim, talking about he's doing this wrong, he done that wrong, he's doing this, it's because of him. Ange Postecoglou got sacked. He should be sacked too. La 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 blah 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 blah. And it's just it's jarring. It is really jarring. And you know, I think if they spent as much energy supporting their football team as about talking about the negatives and talking about this, that, and not understanding the context, not understanding the this football club, because people don't understand. They don't understand what is going on at this football club. You don't understand. People who doubt Ruben Amorim I doubt Ruben Amorim in regards to some selections he makes, but he's not a bad manager. The problem is in the football club, mate. The problem is in the football club. I think you and everyone else need to look at the football club. It's the problem in the football club because no manager is going to come in this football club and make any difference. All right, we might move 8th or 9th. Who cares? That's not Man United at the end of the day. Why she's still got the poisonous players, why she's still got the ownership of the Glazers, it's going to be difficult for anyone to succeed. Ruben Amorim's a very good manager, right? And people can say what they like about it. It's a very good manager. Needs his players. You got a 4 or 5 out of 10 window, guys. And I believe of having seen Alex Ferguson, having seen these managers around, he's a very good manager. Man United is the problem. Absolutely. Held 23 goals, 3 assists in 13 games for club and country, by the way. That's mental. Even though he's a City, you know, I love that guy. Yeah, very, very good striker. Man United missed out on him again, of course. Hey, big up, Miles. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're blessed. Hello, Sal. Hope you're well. Marcus Rashford drowning tools. If I down tools walking on a farm, I would be going home. Do they know how lucky they are? You're a good person, Sal. Big up, brother. Absolutely, mate. We can't down tool in our everyday life, mate. We can't down tool. You know, we can't just down tool. And there's people who work far harder than them, much harder than them, and much less than them. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, for them to just down tool and get rewarded for it. And this is the problem with football. It is a cancer in football. I know that is a problem in football, that people get rewarded for mediocrity. People get rewarded for being sacked, Miles. You know what I mean? You know, for losing games. Look at Ange Postecoglou, just lost a few games and gets a big hefty £1 million payout. You know, nice, isn't it? If you can have it. I could have done his job. Give me the job for a few weeks. Give me £1 million. I'll probably do better than him. Helge, my big issue with Areola is something here. I don't know what's that on my screen. What is that on my screen, guys? Okay. I don't know what that was. That was Streamlabs, by the way. My issue with Areola is something as simple as communication. He talks like Emery. I know that the fan base, it would take 3 losses before they think he sounds like a stupid Spaniard. Yeah, look, you know what's going to be, isn't it, Hell? The Spider-Man references will be coming out, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, and they'll be talking about that. We all know, isn't it, what's going to happen? We know it. We can read it like a book. It's so predictable. I know that seems like a small thing, but I feel like you will understand what I mean. So to be head coach of United, you have to 100 interviews a week, and you when you lose, I don't want to listen to Emery. I don't want to listen to Emery. You're right. I don't want to listen to Areola. I don't like listening to them. I agree. Good evening, of course. Look, you know, at the end of the day, look, Ruben Amorim's a very polite guy. He does a lot of interviews. He helps people. I've heard that a lot. And I would not bring him down because I think a lot of these players are liars and manipulators. And it's time for them to start showing up, and starts tomorrow. Yeah, we just about beat Sunderland. Great news. Great stuff. But you know what? Now we need to actually win a game where everyone's expecting us to lose. And if we can leave that game without defeat, I think that'd be absolutely fantastic. Guys, Bournemouth are taking a lead against Crystal Palace. They're 3-2 up against Crystal Palace. That is a fantastic result from them. That's about Crystal Palace. You know what Crystal Palace do. They play the top 4 teams, and that's about it. Sunderland 1, Wolves 0 still. Burnley 2, Leeds 0 still. Brighton 2, Newcastle 1. And still Man City 2, Everton 0. So, yeah, look, really sort of predictable today, apart from the Brighton and Bournemouth game, of course, guys. Kind of predictable at the moment, guys. Let me just write this down, of course. Absolutely. Let me just write this down. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. So, RJ, Sal, Frank was right about Scarface movie. Sal, Frank was right about Scarface movie. What's that? Tony was greedy. Tony was, yeah, Tony Montardi. Yeah, that's greed, isn't it? Tony was greedy. What's that have to do anything? What's that all about, mate? Who's Frank? I don't know who Frank is. I know many Franks, but I don't know what you're on about, mate. What you on about? Bournemouth summer team, I would tell you, William, they're not, mate. They're not. They're doing what every team do. Like every season, you get that one team that does well. Then they slowly deteriorate, and that's what it is. That happens every single year, mate. Whether it's Brighton, whether it's Crystal Palace, no matter what it is, you always get one team that does well. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, some team, they're doing well for who they are. They are doing well, and fair play to them, and that's great. Yeah. They don't win anything though, do they? You know what I mean? They don't qualify for Europe. You know what I mean? And that's what it is, And that is what Man United is at the end of the day, William. Yeah. So one thing I would say is that some people are obsessed with Ruben Amorim. They are obsessed in a negative way about Ruben Amorim, and it needs to stop, in my opinion. I really do hope it does, and I really hope that winning the game tomorrow against Liverpool, which will be an incredible result, I think that would change the narrative completely. It's going to be a very difficult game, guys. We know it's going to be a very difficult game. Of course we do. But it's not impossible. And this is what I want to emphasize to people, that, it's not impossible to beat them, Frank Lopez. Who's Frank Lopez? Don't even know who he is, mate. I've never heard of him. But yeah, look, what I would say is that, don't give up hope. Just keep believing that we can do it. Until the game starts, we'll know what's going to happen. We have to be on that game. And we've had a long time to prepare for it, guys. Mentally, we've had a time to prepare for it. Ruben Amorim has had time to prepare for it. The one thing I would say is that if Ruben Amorim does get slapped up, if we lose, if we get thumped, then it's obviously going to be precarious for him, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's obviously going to be bad for him, isn't it? And that is what it is. That is football at the end of the day. I have no affiliations with anyone in regards to the players and in regards to the manager. I just have affiliation with the football club. That's it. And what I would say is that, if we get slapped up 3-4, 5-0, then obviously, I would be incredibly unhappy. And but I actually don't think it's going to happen. I actually think Man United are going to turn up tomorrow, and I really do hope so. It's the kind of game that we turn up in. When people don't expect us to turn up, we turn up in these games, don't we? And what I would say is that just believe and put all your personal agendas aside, all your personal feelings about the manager, players and stuff, and just get on with it. I will make my opinion known before the game when the team is announced. I will make my opinions known, what I think about the team, but then I'll just say, all right, it is what it is. We move on, and we're gonna support the team, and I think that's what everyone should do. We should our energy should be towards thinking about beating Liverpool, and that is what the biggest thing should be, guys. It should be that. And if we don't beat Liverpool, then, maybe I'll go in hiding for a couple of days and stuff like that. I can't stand it. But it is what it is, guys. And that is football. And even when we played Liverpool in our heyday, when we were winning things, I remember when they nearly cost us a treble, guys, at Anfield, 2-2 draw, if you all remember that. Battling their life out for that game. Do you know what I mean? Really giving their life for that game. It really made me sick, to be honest with you. But it didn't cost us in the end, thankfully, of course. Wesley. Sal, we must look at this youngster from Roma, Matheus Sewell. I'll check him out. Big up, Wesley. Sal, is Garnacho is so bad? He is definitely, RJ. Yeah, I was speaking about him earlier in the show. Absolute clown, to be honest with you. I mean, obsessed with Man United. Absolutely obsessed. Hey, big up, Ryan. What's going on, my friend? I'll be doing well. Good to see you. The only positions I'm worried about were the midfield against Liverpool tomorrow. Me too, Ryan. I'm worried as well, of course. I don't agree with the midfield. Everyone knows it. I think I've made it pretty obvious and pretty clear that I don't agree with the midfield selection of Bruno in that midfield. I think we should play a double pivot. I think Ugarte and Casemiro would play for me. The worst, it should be Mainu and Ugarte, or Mainu and Casemiro. It should be those two. But I would play a double pivot, definitely, and move Bruno into that number 10 position if he has to play. So I would say, yeah, definitely. And, I don't agree with Bruno playing in that middle. I don't. I think that playing Casemiro and Ugarte is not a negative move. Because I tell you guys, look, what people don't understand about Man United, they say, oh, we play 5 at the back, right? But when you look at Man United's team with Bruno, Embremo, Cunha, Tesco, sometimes we've got 4 players, guys, 5 players, whoever the wing back is, in the attacking position, sometimes 6. in attacking positions. So people don't understand about. They just see, he plays 5 at the back. It's negative. You know, that's why I don't mind playing the 2 double pivots, guys. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, 3 goals and 2 assists in Roma. I mean, it's Italy, Wesley. It's different to the Premier League, isn't it? Premier League is a lot easier. Rasmus Højlund will tell you that. Scott McTominay will tell you that too. It's not the Premier League. Premier League is the hardest league in the world. As we know, it's a completely different league, mate. And many players have come from England and done well there. And then many players have come to England from Serie A and not done particularly well. It's not the strong league that it used to be. Fair play, good talent. But you know what? We probably have as good talents in our team right now. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, how many was Sesko scored there? You know, at the end of the day, how many in Buemo and that? No, you know, we have to look at things realistically and objectively in regards to that. But yeah, good player. But you know what? Serie A is different, isn't it? At the end of the day. That's what I would say. Hopefully we got scouts looking, though. That's one thing I would say, Wesley. Hopefully we got scouts looking at these players. I really do hope so. I really hope that we have players looking around the world, of the players, and working hard to find the next big thing, because I think that's what Man United should be doing. And also, not only about finding the next big thing, also finding players that are ready now. That's important as well, in my opinion. I think it's also important that we find players that are ready now as well, because we've got a lot of good youth. We've got a lot of good youth. Sesko's a young player, isn't he? At the end of the day, Helge, I'm nervous to I'm usually confident, but damn, no, I'm not nervous at all. No, my hands are straight as anything. I'm not nervous at all. No, I'm not nervous about the game. Seen a lot of sport in this club. It's a great football club. Whatever happens will happen, Helge. And what one thing is, what is going to happen tomorrow is that it will be an education. And I'm looking forward to that education. Hopefully, it's a very prosperous and enjoyable education for us, because we can learn 2 things tomorrow. It could be same old, beat Sunderland, go on a losing run. Or it could be, wow, 2 games in a row. Brilliant, And beating Liverpool, it will be a magnificent week. Imagine beating them. It'd be a magnificent week. I will enjoy the week. I will banter as much as I can banter. We will be only 2 points behind them. This fantastic Liverpool side, who spent $500 million right in the summer, we will be 2 points behind. So I think we just have to stay confident and just hopefully we do the business. Hopefully the right team tonight. Hope Ruben slaps Slot on his bald head. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing the bald fraud things coming out, by the way. I know that bald fraud happened with the other Dutch manager, which was Erik ten Hag. I know that bald fraud thing came out. I'm looking forward to the Slot bald fraud brigade coming out, of course, guys. Absolutely. Helge, I just know how extremely long, toxic, and negative the week will be if we lose 4-0 or something. It will be horrible, mate. But one thing I will say, Helge, is that we will learn something from it, won't we? But one thing I want to say, no team, Man United team, no matter who the manager is, should be losing 4-0. No matter what. Let me tell you something about like Real Madrid, for example, right? Real Madrid can have, Ian Dowie or Potter as their manager. They won't lose 4-0. If we lose 4-0, it's down to the players. We lost 7-0 once because of them. Because of the players. Not tactically this and that. The players gave up. You know what I mean? At the end, the players gave up. Not even a team like Torquay United in the League 2 or National League or Nuneaton Borough would go to Liverpool and lose 7-0. So at the end of the day, just like no Man United team, no matter which players you play, should lose against Grimsby. I don't trust these players. Don't trust the ownership. Don't trust the players. And if this went to the court of law, we all know who will be found guilty, guys. Absolutely. Guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me today. And I want to thank everyone for smashing a like. Please don't forget to smash a like, guys. Please, guys. We have to get to 50 likes by the end of tonight. If we can do that, it'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. We're getting ready. It's 24 hours until we know the game will be kicked off 24 hours from now, guys. Take it easy, you legends. And, guys, don't worry about it too much. What will be, will be. We just hope that Man United turn up tomorrow and we get the win that I feel that we will, guys. I feel like we will. I feel like we need to change the record, change the narrative a little bit, guys. And hopefully there's a shift in power tomorrow. Guys, thank you so much. I'm Sal Warner. This is Chatterbox. I shall see you tomorrow for Breaking Dawn in the morning. Please don't forget to join me for that. Look forward to it. Take it easy, guys. Have a great evening and enjoy your weekend. Peace.